Today I'm going to be sharing with you why I think these 20 colors are the only colors you will ever need again for pastels. The painting that you're seeing right now is available on my channel real time if you're interested in seeing that, but let's just get right into today's video. So the pastels that I'm using today are from Pastel, and this is their 20 painting pure color set. And what that means is these are just all of the pure colors. So if you know what Pastels, you know that they have a lot of different colors, and they have some tints, some regular colors, some darks, and extra darks. So this set is just all of the regular colors, including white and black. And one thing I love about these Pastels, and this set in particular, is that they mix so well. So as you can see here in the painting, I'm mixing the colors right on top of the pastels themselves, and they mix so beautifully, almost like paints. They're very creamy and they go down very nicely. But something not a lot of people know is that if you just have this regular set, you can create all the tints and the darks and the extra darks without having to buy all those other pastels. So all you have to do is just take the white and mix whatever color with the white, and you'll create the tint. So let's say you want to have the burnt sienna tint. All you have to do is mix a little bit of white in with the burnt sienna, and that's going to create the burnt sienna tint color for you. Same if you wanted burnt sienna dark or extra dark, you just mix a little bit of the black into it. And this is exactly what Pastel has done. So if you want those convenience colors, you can go ahead and buy them, but you can also create them yourselves. Now you can mix the colors right onto the pans like I am doing here in this demonstration, or you can have a separate piece of paper off to the side, and I would suggest having a smooth paper like a Bristol or a computer paper, and you could mix your colors or test them right on top of that before you go on top of your artwork. Another great quality about these pastels is they don't produce a lot of dust. Sometimes when you're using stick pastels or even pastel pencils, they can tend to create a lot of dust on top of your paper. Now this also depends on what type of paper you're going to be using, which I will touch on a little bit later in this video. But all that dust can kind of get in your way when you're trying to blend your pastels and have a nice smooth surface. And these pastels are just so smooth and so creamy. And as you can see, they don't produce a lot of dust at all. The only time I notice that they do produce some dust is once I've layered up a few layers and I'm putting a lot more pastel on top. I'll notice a few little particles of dust, but honestly, it's not so much to worry about. And I just take this little puffer tool that I got off Amazon, and you'll see it come into the video every now and then, and it's just a green color, and I just lightly puff the dust off of my piece before I go in and blend it. But compared to the amount of dust that you would get with pastel sticks, this is hardly anything at all. And there's also that convenience factor. So as you see here, I'm using a soft tool to put the pastel down. And when you're using a pastel stick, you have to hold it in your hand. And for whatever reason, I just don't like the feeling of holding pastel sticks. But these pastels, I don't know if it's just because they feel a lot more creamier and smoother. They don't bother me at all. So if you're one of those people like me that just don't like the feeling of pastels on your hands or touching them, then you might really like these pastels. Another really important feature here with these pastels, especially if you're an artist that likes to sell your artwork, is these are professional quality and light fast. So that's really important when selling our artworks, because we want to make sure that the art that we sell will last for years and years. So you hear a lot of artists talking about light fast and archivalness of art products, and that's really important because our buyers want to make sure that they're paying for quality products that are going to last. These pastels are also highly pigmented, so as you can see here, the color is going on vibrant and very bright, and just with one stroke or two, like that color is covering all of the pastel mat. So you can just see how highly pigmented and what quality these pastels are. I like to refer to them as your artist quality watercolors. So if you tried, student brand watercolors, they're good, but you'll notice they're just not as pigmented. They don't flow as nicely. They don't mix as nicely. And these pastels are sort of more your artist watercolors, if you want to say. So they'll mix a little bit better. They're brighter. The pigment's better in them. So you're really getting a quality product here that's been tested. Now, I have to touch on price a little bit because a lot of people say that pan pastels are very pricey, but they're pricey for a few of the reasons that I've already listed, but they also last a really long time. So pan pastels claim that there is way more pastel in their pans than there is in pastel pencils. I think they claim to have about maybe 4 times as much in your average pastel pencil. So that's quite a lot of pastel when you think about it. And thinking of stick pastels, I know a lot of stick pastels have different sizes, but when you think about the waste of pigment that you're using when you put it down and a lot of that pigment crumbles off and you sort of blow it off and you waste that, you're still wasting a lot of pigment where you're not really wasting anything with the pan pastels. And even with the average size of a pastel stick, once you use that up, your pan pastel is still going to last you much longer than that one stick. So in the long run, I think it is worth the price. Now, as I said earlier, paper really does make a big difference when using pan pastels, and my favorite paper to use with them is the Pastel Matte from Clairefontaine, and here I'm using the white Pastel Matte. It also comes in other colors, but I like to use the white one when I want to keep some nice, bright, vibrant colors like I want to in the pumpkin here. Using a paper that has a lot of tooth to it, like the Pastel Matte here, will allow you to be able to go on top and add layers to your pastel and really help create that depth like you can see in this pumpkin here, how I'm starting to get it darker and darker. The pastel sticks to it really well, so even after when you're done your piece and you want to go ahead and frame your picture, you don't need to use a spray fixative because the pastel's not going to come off of this board, especially if you've took your time to layer up. Push the pastel down into the tooth of the paper. Now, my other favorite paper for pastel would be the Canson MEEDEN, and that is a lot smoother than this. There's no real tooth to it other than a little bit of bumpy texture. So the pastel, you'll be able to get a couple layers on top of that matte. So try a different paper before you give up on your pastels altogether, because it might not be you, it might be your paper. Now, here's a little bonus tip for anybody that's made it this far into the video. You like the pan pastels, you want to try them, but you don't want to commit to 20 colors. That's okay. Again, look at this sort of like if you were looking at watercolors. You can get a 3 primary set. So you want to get your permanent red, your Hansa yellow, and your phthalo blue or ultramarine blue, depending on what you would consider your primary blue color, and then get your titanium white and your black. And from those 3 colors and your white and black, you could virtually mix all of the other colors. You're just going to do a lot more mixing. You can mix out your secondary colors, and having that second piece of paper off to the side to help with your mixing is really going to help you mix those other colors even better. So all you really need is just 5 colors to invest in, and then you can decide if the pan pastels are for you or not. And pan pastels are sold separately, so you don't have to get the 20 set color right away. You can get those 5 colors, try them out, and then if you decide you like them, you can buy some more individual colors as you're able to. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, I would love it if you could give it a like, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye!